efficient on offense. The spread offense got off to a good start. Joe was on the money with his passes. I thought 14 guys catching the ball. We spread the ball around very well. Offensive line blocked, no sacks. Then the whole Georgia Southern, the 98 yards of total offense was a tremendous job by our staff. I thought we tackled well for the first game. We won the turnover ratio, which we all know those guys were plus 22. We were plus 2. We worked very hard on that. Special teams, Derek Stingley showed us some stuff in the return game. Cade York was 2 of 2 for field goals, 7 of 7 for extra points. So overall, I thought it was a great team effort. And obviously, we're going to face a great opponent in Texas this week on the road. It's going to be a very good challenge for our football team, but we're going to be up for it. A little bit about Texas, they're plus 2, we're plus 2. The offense is led by Sam Ellinger, quarterback. He's a very good football player. He's a complete football player, and he does a lot of things with his feet. He does a great job with his arm. He makes some great decisions. They have an excellent scheme. They're very similar to us on offense, and he knows where to go with the football. Keontae Ingram's a big back. He's physical. He's explosive. Colin Joseph may be the biggest and one of the best receivers we see all year. We're going to have a plan for them. They're very strong up front, have a very good scheme. On defense, they're 3-3-5. They're returning 4 starters. Their linebackers are very good, and so is Caden Sturr, one of the best safeties we're going to see. Joseph Usai, number 46, is an excellent linebacker. Those guys can run and hit. They blitz a whole bunch of zone blitz football team. They're very good at blitzing. On special teams, they have a lot of great athletes. Jake Smith's an outstanding returner. We have to know where he's at all the time. This is a very well coached, good football team. Going into Austin, Texas is going to be, we have to practice the noise this week. It's going to be a loud stadium. We played on the turf. We're going to get there early, get ready to go. It'll be a tremendous challenge for our football team. Any questions?
Coach Backlund, what's the signature of a Todd Orlando defense, and why is he so respected amongst his peers?
Well, you know, they blitz by protection. They blitz the run. He disguises his blitzes. These guys know what they're doing. They're good tacklers. They use their speed. I think their strength of their defenses and their linebackers and their DBs. They use them a bunch.
Hey, down in front, do you expect Sadiq and Mike Divinity to play this
Yes,
week?
both of them will play this week.
Hey, Coach, this is obviously not your average non-conference game. As a guy who grew up in Louisiana, can you speak to the cultures of Louisiana and Texas and all this coming together?
I remember all those comments growing up, no question. I remember that, and I remember the rivalries, and I was at Arkansas and in the Southwest Conference then, and I know how big that is at UT, and I know the people from Louisiana, kind of rib each other from Texas and all that. So I understand all that, but you know what? That has nothing to do with it when we kick the football off. This is about the LSU Tigers playing Texas on the turf, fundamentals, taking care of the football, playing our type of football.
So you mentioned that Divinity's going to be back. You talked a lot about Damone Clark during camp, and he had a very good game 1. So now you have Divinity, Clark, Phillips, Queen. What's the plan for those guys? How do you work them all in?
We're going to go through the week, see what happens. Obviously we're going to work Michael back in. We think Michael's an excellent linebacker for us, and also can play on the line of scrimmage sometimes when we need him. We're going to see how we can work those guys in. Maybe a first down situation with somebody else, a third down situation with somebody else, and play all 4 of them in equal snap they deserve.
And you talked about how similar your teams are offensively. One thing that stood out to me was the pass play to Terrace in the south end zone where he broke behind the line of scrimmage and you blocked outfield. Is that something when you saw that being allowed in college football, you're like, we got to take advantage of this? And,
Yes.
and what are your thoughts as a defensive guy trying to stop offenses that have that advantage?
It's very tough to stop it on defense. We try to stop it every day in practice. We haven't stopped it yet, so we're still trying to figure out a way to stop it. But great scheme by Coach Hansberg and Coach Brady.
Coach, to your right. With Caleb on, I think we've all talked so much about him as an edge rusher. He was real physical at the point of attack against the run Saturday. Is that something that's developed since he's been here, or when you recruited him, did you know that was part of his game?
Well, he's gained some weight, obviously. Caleb on is very thick, and he has a great lower body. He has a lot of strength in his lower body, and he's worked hard. And this injury, allowed him to get strong in the weight room. Tommy Moffitt has done a tremendous job with this guy. He's very explosive. As you can see, he's all muscles, and the way he played last Saturday night is how we expect him to play.
Coach, where do you think the maturity of your team is in terms of handling everyone telling them they played an amazing game this
Yeah.
past week? And
Yeah.
like last year when you lost in Florida, you played your best game maybe the
Right.
next week against
Right.
Georgia. How do they handle that?
You know, we're about to tell on Saturday night, and I do expect them to play well. This is a mature team. The way they acted yesterday was not giddy. It was a day off for them. We've had Tell the Truth Monday. They handled the film very well. We had one of our best Monday practices we ever had. They know the magnitude of this football game, but again, we're not gonna make it bigger than life. We've been in big games before, but this is a big game and they know it.
And back down here in front, how does being on the road and dealing with that noise kind of change or challenge how the offense operates without huddle?
Yeah, well, you know, silent count, obviously. We're gonna have to have some noise on Tuesday and Wednesday. We'll see how we react to it, see the things that we can do, we can't do. May have to simplify some things, maybe have some checks that we can't do on the road, can't do on the road. But I think as the game goes on, you can figure out what you can and you can't do.
Ed, right here in the middle. A lot of talk about the linebackers, obviously, but two younger ones, Micah Baskerville and Kendall McCallum, just what you saw from them, and then if you have an update on Sonny Fanua and his status.
Yeah, Sony had a little operation on his hand, so he's gonna be out for a little while. I think those two young linebackers are gonna be good linebackers. They're not at the level of the other guys in front of them, but they're developing.
Coach, over here, you're right. Two questions. The offense was so good on Saturday night. Are you curious to see what you can do against the top 10 opponent?
Yeah.
Number one. And number two, of course, Tom Herman's being asked about LSU this week.
Good.
Does that make the game any more different for you, or do you really not care about all of that?
I answer the second one first, don't care. I mean, I'm happy to be the coach at LSU, and this is about our football players against their football players, so none of that means anything. I am interested in seeing how we protect our quarterback against all these blitzes. I do believe that we have the skill and the knowledge to get people open and to catch the football, make yards after catch. But we do have to protect the quarterback first, and this is gonna be a challenge for us.
And it's gonna be super hot this week in Austin, and they have a turf field. Are you gonna do anything different this week to try to get your team ready?
Yeah,
for
you know,
Saturday?
we've been practicing in the heat, and we're going out there as many times as we can. Today, we're gonna practice on the grass. Tomorrow, we may practice on the turf, out in the heat again. Seems like it'll be a pretty nice day out there, but I think I've talked to Louisiana Tech. I talked to them some about the conditions at the stadium, some of the condition on the turf field. I think we're gonna be fine.
Ed, do you have a comp for Sam Ellinger, maybe that you prepared against during your time at LSU or before?
Can you say it again?
Do you have a comp, does he remind you of anybody, Ellinger, that you've had to prepare for?
You know, he reminds me a little bit of Tebow. And I was at another school, we had to play Tebow. And I'm not saying he's as good as Tebow, I'm not saying he's not, but he reminds me of that type of player, but he's a better thrower.
With Colin Johnson, I guess, how do you go about defending him? Do you kind of assign one guy to him, or do you guys just go side of the field?
Well, yeah, you know, that stuff sounds good until they start giving to the running back and they start mixing a lot of plays, you know. So we're gonna have a sound defensive scheme. The one thing I like about Coach Aranda and our defensive staff, we may have gone into last week's game with about 15 different defenses. We used one. So our guys played. And, you know, we're gonna go in there and play our base defense. Now, if we need to make adjustments as the game goes on, Coach Aranda always has some answers. So I'm sure there'll be something like that if we need it. But if we can play our base defense and play the things that we play well, that's what we're always gonna do that.
Coach, over to your right here. Going back to the offense and playing a defense like this, what does need to change? I mean, you guys played really well, obviously, but what does need to change when you face a defense as aggressive as this?
What does need to change when we face a defense?
Yeah, what different looks do you expect to give your offense playing a defense like this?
Yeah, well, first of all, offense is gonna get a lot of blitzes this week. And, is that what you asked me?
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of pressure. Georgia Southern played the same defense we practice every day, and there was not much of a change, so we're used to it. Obviously, there's gonna be bigger, better athletes, especially in the linebacker position, the safety position. These guys are phenomenal athletes. I think it's the strength of their team. So they're gonna try to probably blitz us most every down, we have to pick it up.
And you talked about players knowing the magnitude of this game. When
Yeah.
you're trying to take that next step and get back to that elite level, how important is it to win games?
You know, it's very important, but there'll be a lot of games down the road that are just as important or more important. So we gotta be able to learn how to handle this. You wanna be on the big stage at LSU, we are on the big stage, but you know what? It's not gonna change our preparation. Today's competition Tuesday, we're gonna keep a level head. We're gonna go out there and do the best we can today, do the same thing the next day. I'm sure when we get on that plane, we're gonna be fired up, ready to go. I'm sure they're gonna be fired up, ready to go. Team that takes care of the ball, the team that's most physical, is gonna win the football game.
Down in front, in your experience, when coaches have kind of a personal and professional history with one another, like Aranda and Herman do,
Yeah.
does it affect preparation in any way in terms of trying to make things look different, or does it complicate matters? What is your view of that?
I think that's overrated. I think that what you see on film is what you go after. But I think that every once in a while, I guess there's some internal motivation, but Coach Aranda would never say anything like that. He's the ultimate professional. But I'm sure there's a little internal motivation.
Ed Orgeron. Would you mind talking a little bit about Glenn Logan and
Yeah.
maybe the camp he had? He's probably surprised a lot of people that
Yeah.
he got the start last week.
Yeah, thanks for mentioning that. I thought Glenn Logan played fantastic. The first play of the game, he had a cutoff block, and it's hard when you get a cutoff block and that dive coming right after you made a tremendous tackle. Glenn Logan did not miss one rep in camp. And I can't say that for any other defensive lineman, and I don't think any other offensive lineman that I know of. So Glenn was very, very sturdy in camp. He's come a long way. He's an excellent lineman right now. He's one of our best linemen. He's a great young man. He doesn't say much. He's a good technician from Destrehan High School. We're proud of him.
Coach, Ensminger said during the summer that there would be a situation where he might go with Brady on a play or something, he would have final say, but like, how many of Brady's plays got through, you think, Saturday?
A bunch. I thought I was on the headset, they communicated very well. And Steve had an open mind. I thought he called a great game. Joe made some suggestions. Some went through, some didn't. But I think that as the time goes on, those guys share it together. Steve calls it. It's both their ideas, and I think they work great together.
And you mentioned the similarities between your offenses and Texas's. How defensively can that help y'all prepare for Ellinger and Johnson, all the things that they can do on that side of the ball?
Yeah, well, you know, we're gonna prepare, how we're gonna prepare for Ellinger?
How defensively seeing your offense every day?
Yeah, it helps, but we don't have a scrambling quarterback like that. You know, Joe doesn't scramble that much in practice, and he can scramble, but Ellinger is much more of a running threat than our quarterback is. So those things that maybe last week helped us prepare a little bit more. Judge Southern, a running quarterback, he's a different style than Joe. This guy can beat you with his feet, can throw the football, but he's very dangerous, especially in the red zone. They're gonna give him the ball, just like they did with Tebow, give him the quarterback power on short yardage, run him on the zone read. So he's a little bit different than our offense in that situation.
You mentioned the quarterback power, what a big part of their offense that is. What did you see in week one from Tyler Shelvin? How kind of important is he to stopping that?
I want to be real careful what I say, okay? Big T played very well. Played very well. He had a good camp. I thought he played excellent. And now consistency is a big factor with him. He proved to us that that's why we went and get him. He was the #1 player in the state. He played with tremendous leverage. As we all know, he's an excellent athlete, and he played hard. I think out of 24 plays, he only had 2 lofts, which we grade pretty hard. And he had like an 85% grade on his technique and run, so that was a very good grade for him. But again, now we're gonna face a bigger, stronger offensive line, a bigger back, a better quarterback running the football. We'll see how he does in a big-time game, but I do think he's gonna do well.
And offensively and defensively, skilled players are a little special. Texas had some fancy T-shirts in their pregame with
Yeah.
EBU on them. Is that just good motivation for your team?
Yeah.
You care one way or the other?
You know, all I know is we LSU. That's all I know.
Coach, you're right. You mentioned the offensive line not giving up any sacks. That was the point of concern coming into the year. What did the film show y'all in terms of what can still be corrected and what you can build upon?
Well, Austin Deckler's played better than he's played, with more consistency. But Char played pretty good. He made some mistakes. Some of the other guys weren't ready. We still have the left guard position, still has to get better. Obviously, Lloyd and D. Lewis, they're very consistent. I do believe having Sadiq back this week at left tackle is gonna help us. But again, we're gonna get tested now. These guys are gonna blitz. They're good rushers. They're on the edge. We have to win our one-on-ones, let's say after this game.
Yeah, kind of going back to what you said earlier about talking to a lot of tech people about Texas, are you concern yourself with trying to acclimate your team to playing in a totally, place you don't go to every other year like you did in the SEC school? Like, kind of like when you went to Syracuse in 2015. Or do you try to remind them the field's 100 by 53?
Yeah, there's not enough time. There's not enough time to talk about it, maybe to go there the day before. We don't do that. We used to go practice the day before, look at the stadium and all. The only way we went to the Cowboy Stadium because it was so unique. And I wanted to see that big goddamn myself. Before I got distracted. But, it's gonna be another stadium, there'll be another crowd, we'll be playing those stadiums, and, in the SEC, we play on turf, we're gonna play in the heat, and, we have to get used to it, so.
Coach, over here, when players, high school players, see you run that kind of offense and execute that way, how much does that help you in recruiting? And if you were able to do that this Saturday, how much would it help you in recruiting?
Phenomenal. It's on the big stage. They wanna see us throwing the football. They wanna see us in the shotgun. The quarterbacks love seeing it. The playmakers love getting the ball in their hands. The running backs love it. The offensive linemen love it. And they love seeing you scoring points. So this helps us in recruiting. Obviously, we have an outstanding recruiting class. We have a great group of receivers, a great group of quarterbacks. And after we called all of them this week, said, Coach, that's the offense we want to be in. And we're so happy that we are. So it helps us in recruiting. Obviously, Texas is a big area for us in recruiting. So this is gonna be a big game for us in recruiting. There's a lot of things going on this weekend that can help us even get a better class.
You mentioned the one